I love in this world? My cat, that's the little guy in the background giving Pyramid Head a run for his money, the Oxford comma, and saving every 7 seconds in a video game, because I made all that progress and I am not gonna lose it. However, although this is typically good advice, it isn't always recommended to press the save button, because sometimes saving can be the worst mistake of your gaming career. Due to nasty bugs in some games, saving can lead to terrible consequences. I'm Jess from WhatCulture, and here are 10 video game glitches that made saving delete your progress instead. Number 10, the Cherry Popper Ice Cream Company, Grand Theft Auto Vice City. When you say the word glitch to an OG Grand Theft Auto fan, the first thing that comes to their mind is probably the swing set from GTA 4, which can catapult you across all of Liberty City. However, there is a more infamous glitch that fans would probably rather forget than remember, because it was a hell of a lot less fun. This is, of course, a reference to the dreaded Cherry Popper ice cream factory corruption that used to plague the early copies of GTA Vice City for the PlayStation 2. The bug caused all saves made inside the ice cream factory to become corrupted and completely unplayable. The reason for why this one specific location caused these issues is unknown, but the glitch was still common enough that the factory quickly gained notoriety among early Vice City players, who eventually started warning each other of the error. Honestly, the glitch, or lack thereof, might be the only thing the new remaster of Vice City has over the original release. To be clear, I'm not saying that's a better game, but hey, at least somebody bothered to fix this decades-old issue, so that it's got that one thing. Well done. Number 9, corruption error, Fallout New Vegas. For all its great writing and gameplay, Fallout New Vegas still suffers from a number of really terrible glitches that turn away a lot of players. The infinite loading screen is probably the more recognizable of these issues, but there was also the save corruption issue that happened with the old console copies of the game. Yes, the old console versions of New Vegas come with a unique glitch that causes irreversible damage to save files made in the latter half of the game. The glitch is caused by the small memory space of the save slots, which are incapable of recording all the data that comes in with late game save files. In the best case scenario, the game will simply not let you save the game due to your progress taking too much space. In the worst case scenario, the game will let you save, and the next time you load your progress, you'll be unpleasantly surprised to learn that your decision has caused a permanent corruption of the save slot. Unfortunately, the best fix for this in the early days, when it was the console edition causing the problem, was to just not do extra quests so your save file wouldn't take up so much room, which is terrible. Number 8, infinite saving bug, Cyberpunk 2077. Since its catastrophic launch, Cyberpunk 2077 has received a number of patches that have resolved most of its game-breaking issues. However, despite all the effort on CD Projekt Red's part, some major bugs still plague the game, including a glitch that can delete your progress. The bug, which was reported on multiple versions of the game, basically prevents you from saving as it causes the process to never end. Which is good for me because I enjoy saving, but I want it to happen and end. When the bug occurs in your Cyberpunk copy, any attempt to record your progress will result in an endless saving screen that can only be stopped by force quitting the game. This makes it impossible to save any data and can even cost you losing a significant amount of progress, as the bug triggers at random and can strike you when you least expect it. For this reason, you might want to save your progress as often as you can, but then again, this solution only works as long as the game doesn't decide you need to be put in an endless loop of saving that doesn't actually save anything. Well, at least the police in the game are slightly less buggy. Number 7, saveless saving, The Sims 3. For all the innovation Sims 3's introduced into the franchise, it also came with a lot of limitations that started showing their true colors towards the end of the title's existence. More specifically, the game is plagued with a save-related issue where basically the game can refuse to save your progress if, yet again, it takes up too much storage space. In the event the bug occurs, the game allows the player to hit the save button, but the process will last a long time. And towards the end, the game will inform inform you that the save cannot be made, rendering your file unusable beyond loading in the world and playing it for a bit. This makes it especially painful to encounter, as it can suddenly take away the dozens, or let's face it, if you're doing a legacy challenge, hundreds of hours you put into creating a long genealogical tree of your Sims, and there's no way for you to anticipate it. The workaround for the bug is to use the save as function, but unfortunately, that's also only a temporary workaround. Number 6, Y-Graph Duel, Final Fantasy Tactics. Final Fantasy Tactics is a more strategic take on the traditional IP style, adopting a battle map similar to that of Fire Emblem. Being a much more tactical Final Fantasy title, as it says in the name, the game obviously expects you to prepare for each battle, but what you might not know is that in one instance, it can even punish you for being ill-prepared by permanently ruining your save file. The boss fight with Y-Graph, or WeGraph, is infamous among tactics players for destroying many a playthrough thanks to its ability to soft lock the player in an unwinnable fight. The game asks you to save right before the duel, and so you do. But what it doesn't mention is that the fight is so difficult that without grinding your character's levels and preparing your inventory, it can become impossible to win. The prompt to save appears like a nice RPG thing, giving you a chance to redo the battle just in case you don't win, but given that the battle is so difficult, it accidentally just makes sure that certain players would have no other choice than to start a whole new playthrough if they cannot get through that fight. It's not a proper bug, but the prompt is a result of poor foresight on the developer's part, who didn't realize some people might try to rush their bosses. Number 5, Shard Glitch, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess has a lot of game-breaking glitches, and unsurprisingly, a lot of them are related to saving. One example of this particular category of bugs is the Scholar bug, which can permanently soft lock you out of finishing the game if you save at the wrong moment. The soft lock happens during the section of the game where Midna tells you to meet with the Scholar Shard. If you save and quit your game after talking to Midna, but before going to the Scholar, the next time you see him, he'll act as if you haven't spoken to Midna yet, not triggering the dialogue that allows you to progress the quest. There is no fix to the bug, so once it occurs, you're stuck with it forever. And since the Scholar is a vital part of this mission, as in you absolutely have to do this if you want to get through to the end of the game, your only option here, if you happen to get caught by it, is to start a whole new playthrough. The save becomes virtually useless, so to ensure this or a similar option doesn't happen to you, make sure you quit the game only when you're not in the middle of a quest. Number 4, Lullaby Glitch, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Bugs related to saving and quitting seem to be a common affliction of Zelda games, as the original Ocarina of Time has a similar issue to Twilight Princess in one of the most iconic moments of the game. When Link sneaks into Zelda's palace in order to learn the lullaby, saving and quitting in the middle of this sequence can cause your game to permanently break. The glitch occurs if you save right after meeting Zelda, but before learning the lullaby from her. Doing so lets you spawn outside the castle without learning the lullaby, making it impossible to sneak past the guards to reach Zelda again. Due to this, you'll be unable to learn the song, and seeing as it's a vital part of the entire game, that means you won't be able to finish it. The glitch renders your save file unbeatable, and while you can load and play a little bit, you won't be able to reach the end of the game, so that's probably going to be more disappointing than satisfying. The glitch is awful, but then again, you have to give it credit for sticking with Ocarina of Time's time travel theme by warping you back to before you spoke with Zelda. That is the only nice thing we can say about that glitch. Number 3, Error Code 0, The Sims 4. The decade-old existence of The Sims 4 has been riddled with bugs and problems that pop up with each new expansion pack and extend its unnatural lifespan. The bugs can be super game-breaking, but in one specific case, it went past that and actually corrupted the function of saving altogether. The bug, known within the Sims 4 community as Error Code 0, is a saving issue that prevents players from saving their game, and in severe cases can corrupt a save file when the player attempts to record their progress, breaking it beyond repair. While Error Code 0 mostly affects modded games, back when the Wedding Stories DLC came out, it became a widespread bug that could pop up even in completely unmodded playthroughs as well. At the launch of the DLC, the bug was responsible for destroying hundreds of save files of all kinds of sim players, taking away their new and legacy saves for doing nothing more than trying to save their progress. The bug was mostly related to the wedding events that came with the DLC, so even though it's now been fixed, there's plenty of players who feel like saving during them is really tempting fate. Number 2, Lumio City, Pokemon X and Y. Pokemon X and Y were among the first truly 3D Pokemon games that paved the path for the current standard of the franchise. Being the pioneers that they are, the games obviously had a few kinks that future releases had to iron out. However, there was one particular issue with them that had to be resolved immediately, as it was capable of destroying people's saves. Those who got a copy of X or Y at launch may remember the infamous Lumio City glitch, which basically meant that your save file would be corrupted if you tried to save within the game's capital city. Any save made of the streets of Lumio City would load the game incorrectly, corrupting the save file and making it unplayable. The issue was likely related to the change of camera perspective that occurred inside the city, which is why saving the game anywhere else didn't yield similar results. The issue was eventually fixed, but fair enough, some players still decide they're going to go inside a building before saving instead of trying to do it in the infamous previous save corruption zone. Number 1, save file corruption bug, Soulcalibur 3. Soulcalibur 3 is an interesting example in the genre of save deleting corruption, as the infamous glitch that came along with it is also able to destroy your game data with saves made in other titles. Yes, the fighting game became notorious as it would corrupt save files whenever you altered the data on your memory card. This meant that if you wanted to clear up some space on your PlayStation memory card, or if you did something as simple as overwrite a save of any other game you were playing alongside Soulcalibur 3, your Soulcalibur save file would become corrupted beyond repair. Worst of all, the glitch could even break your memory card so badly that it wouldn't work for Soulcalibur 3 altogether. The only workaround for the glitch was to get an empty memory card specifically for this game, which, let's be honest, is way too much trouble for something as simple as recording your progress. For this reason, if you do want to check the game out, you should probably get the fixed Platinum edition of Soulcalibur 3, so then you don't have to deal with the whole headache of this memory card nightmare.